Can you project yourself? Oh, you're on the phone. Right? You're on your phone?
I projected.
Oh, you projected.
I'm on my phone from the sound, but I should be affected.
But you're not projecting your
idea. I'm currently presenting.
Yes, you're presenting, but you're not showing yourself. Can you show yourself from the camera? You have a webcam? And I'll see if I can show them.
Oh, no.
No?
I'm not going to go so complicated. This is very working.
Okay, now how do I reverse this stupid thing? Does it see me? I know there's a way to do this. I've done it before. My mom always does this. I get those great shots of the scene. This is Skype for Business, by the way. Lync in sheep's clothing. Or Sham clothing, I guess. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, you don't need to see me, and I can't make them see you. But we're ready to rock. So take her away, Kenneth.
All right. Well, I'm glad I can at least challenge you a little. It'll be fun to be there, but we're not. So maybe we'll make it next year. It'll be fun. Ellen and I did a brief sort of presentation here, and we really wanted to make sure it was there too. And we thought we could just sort of talk through a little bit what's changed here recently in Microsoft. We've gone through a sort of a rekindling or rebirth kind of where we were before, and it seemed worthwhile to talk about how we're doing things differently, where we're headed, and specifically how to engage with us a little bit differently than what we've done before. So I'll sort of start through that. So first question is what's changing? And the answer is, well, kind of just about everything. The biggest change has been Satya. He's made a huge difference. And I'm going to dwell on this just a little bit because it kind of sets the context for what we're now able to do that we were not able to do before. This is one of my favorite quotes. Nothing is off the table in how we think about shifting our culture, and it's been true. Now, obviously, culture takes a while to shift, so it's not like we suddenly, become different people, but we're on a path towards, I think, substantial improvement, and certainly the place is now open to doing things. We're now doing some stuff on open source. We're talking about that we never could have done 3 years before at all, even dreamed of. And so it's been great to have. In order to even talk about, the stuff we were doing, we had to get special permission and sign 9 or 10 forms and, I don't know, sacrifice a chicken or something. And now we're able to just go ahead and talk to people a lot more. Certainly one of the key themes is to be focused on customers and to be data-driven. So we have probably chatted with about 60 or 70 different customers in the past, 2 months alone on an in-depth basis and taken in-depth notes, which is a fair bit for a small team. Now, obviously, in such events as the Powershell Summit or the Powerhsell Community Konferenz, you can interact with a lot of people. So that's not including those events. This is more one-on-one discussion. And we're moving more and more towards a data-driven model. What that means is we're looking at some of the telemetry. We don't have a lot of telemetry yet, but we're going to start looking across industry trends, across some telemetry, and we'll start culling through all this customer data for patterns, for common problems, and start trying to drive a little more of our decisions out of there. So I would say we're beginning, these 2 steps fairly strongly, but we're still at the nascent stage. Now, in terms of speed-oriented, we're making huge headway there in terms of WMF previews coming out, although we need to improve their quality, which is the next thing, quality focus. We still have a lot of processes that get in our way inside Microsoft and around, so we're sort of still trying to work through how we get a little more speed-oriented, a little higher quality, a little more data-driven. But this is the right direction, and I think over the next year or 2, you will see us continually push in these areas. And just to be clear, this is a journey. We have just started. So we're going to make some mistakes as we do this. So just be patient with us. If you have suggestions, feel free to send them. We can at least incorporate them or try to understand them better. I love this one. It just means culture change, means we will do things differently, in fact, all of it. These are the rest of the sort of quotes that I'm helpful about, and I really like them out of his email. We talked a little about each one of them. This is actually important, if you will, to sort of highlight at the bottom. Every team across Microsoft must find ways to simplify and move faster, more efficiently. And we have been doing that, I think, in a number of ways internally, and we now have permission to, which is really the big change. So Saki has created kind of an umbrella where we can operate more efficiently and experiment a little more safely with new ways of doing things. It's been a huge impact. Now, here's what I'm going to try to cover in the next, 30 minutes or so, I guess. So let's change, we kind of touched on a little bit. We'll try to talk a little bit about what's different in how we engineer between PM and software dev test. We'll go through a couple of fun announcements, and I'll talk a little bit about how we're capturing data from customers and how you engage. And then the summary is just a wrap up. So, all right, so we're trying to get the intent of this is the quote here, the intent is to evolve so that information can travel between engineers and customers quickly, better, more sanely between the engineering team, which includes the PMs, obviously, as we try to bring the information to customers and engage with engineers in a way that they can understand. The program manager role is changing somewhat. We've always been engaging with customers, that hasn't changed, but now we've freed ourselves up from doing a lot of the day-to-day project management. We were doing a lot of that before. Now our time is freed up from that, so we're able to start spending more time with customers. John's like this in spending a couple of weeks visiting a bunch of customers across the world. And as I say, we go through a regular process on our own team. And then there are some particular customers, in fact, Bruce will give out some cards if he hasn't already. I'll tell him one presentation is coming yet, where the CAT team really wants to engage more specifically. So if you have named
really wants to.
Customers, in this case individuals that I could company. Pardon?
They really want to. They got those cards over here so fast I was dazzled. Continue.
I couldn't quite understand. I'm going to assume it was something.
Okay, yeah, I didn't quite hear me.
So if he doesn't have, and if he does, then great. If not, we'll send you the link. Just shoot me an email. We'll send you the link for everybody to sign up. Anyway, so program manager will spend a little more time on telemetry, data management, market trends, a lot less time in the trenches of trying to shift the beast. The software engineers are now combined. We've merged together the dev and test disciplines, and they will focus on sort of delivering the basic features, design, coding, quality, and execution. And this integration has taken us a little while too. This hasn't come naturally easy to Microsoft. In the past, I and others have managed teams where the software engineers were both developers and testers, and that works out great, but it does take a while for an organization to understand what that means and how to operate. But we're starting, we're making great headway, and we're getting good feedback on it. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, enough of us. So now we're trying to figure out how we simplify and get innovation fast with customers, which means we're beginning to rethink where and when we deliver innovation. In the past, we've delivered just the Windows and then Windows Management Framework, WMF, down level as Windows release. As you know, just in this past year, we're starting to put out the WMF preview on a regular basis. And, there's some, fits and starts, some things that work, some things that don't. We're learning how to differentiate between production-ready elements of WMF and experimental, and we'll continue to evolve that process. But what you can expect is that we will ship on some frequent and regular cadence new innovation to you. And we really want you to participate in installing it and giving us feedback, telling us what works, what doesn't work, and what you can use, what you can't use, what you think is ready for production, what's not ready for production. Just don't hesitate to provide feedback, and we'll give you 2 or 3 ways to do that in just a couple of slides. So, experiment we will deliver. We are beginning to, hopefully you've noticed, deliver some open source contribution and galleries. And there's a couple of announcements we'll go through, but certainly one of them was the DSC Red kit, which just went live last week is now on open source, and within hours, just a very short while, even before we didn't tell anybody, we didn't blog it, we didn't tweet it, officially it was just there. Our community, you, are very passionate, and someone had, hooked that repo, and so they knew exactly when we published, and within just a very short while, we already had hundreds of lines of code with updates to DSA resources. Big Y in particular gave us a blizzard of changes, and then we actually went through and we sent an email back, kind of like this part, saying, hey, that version's not quite right. We got it, and with an explanation, Joey sent us that within minutes. We actually have an update to it. So we're definitely trying to up the cadence of delivering. And open source really lets us do that together. Both let us deliver to you, lets you fix the issues that you see. You don't even have to, and we can generate pull requests and handle things. So this open source, we think, will continue to grow. And certainly the Powershell Gallery will continue to grow, and we will go, right now as a public consumption, within the next month or two, we should expect to be able to publicly produce so that anyone can produce resources and other things to publish on the Powershell Gallery. We're really looking forward to that. Documentation here is for a really couple of reasons. One, our current documentation is woefully inadequate. It just needs to improve.
Does anyone disagree?
Now they're
laughing.
They're all nodding. Thank you. I thought they might. Yeah, when you said that here, you can just see the whole writing on the floor and hacking. So, however, we've not got any new resources for this. What we're probably going to do is figure out ways so that we change the internal processes, just so you have a flavor. In order for me to fix a typo that I find, it takes 3 weeks between the time I find it. If I make a change or someone on my team makes a change, it still takes almost 3 weeks to get that actually through the entire Byzantine documentation tools and put somewhere.
And did everybody catch that point?
So the process is
how long it takes us to do docs? That's why they stopped. So, it's kind of highlighted the documentation problem.
You want to remake it there, Bruce?
No, I think we're good. But it's trying to.
Yeah, it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah. And the audio is still a little bit difficult coming from your end, so I'm trying to enhance a few things. France.
Please do.
There's also
Tell me what I should continue.
Go ahead.
So documentation. So now there's no promise here. This is not an announcement, but our intent is to get this stuff out there so the community can actually update and we can update within minutes or within a very short period of time. One could conceive of doing something like putting the documentation up on GitHub so that, in fact, if you wanted to add examples, wanted to get help items, bland, you could just do that, submit a pull request, we approve, and voila, it gets published in updatable help and everybody has it available.
I'm going to interject for a second.
Everybody follow that idea?
Kenneth, I'm going to interject for 1 second. One of the things that's being proposed is to, instead of using the MAML formats that we've been using so far, has anybody looked at the MAML stuff? It's kind of awful. The suggestion is to use the Markdown language. It's and has anybody else had any experience with Markdown? And that would be a good way for us to go. Is that the feedback I'm getting from people who use it? Yes. Okay, so we're getting a lot of positive feedback from going to Markdown as a markup language. You may continue.
Excellent. Excellent. So I just wanted to highlight, this is another key area that we recognize that it's not just about product, it's about documentation, it's about testing, and how do we get that stuff updated more efficiently, more quickly, and frankly, how do we work together on it? So I'm looking forward to that, and it comes out hopefully over the next, many months. This is not a tomorrow thing, but we have to focus. If you have extra ideas, please feed them to Bruce and get back to us. And then additionally, it would be great to add more demos, more tutorials, both from our side and as a shared place for the community. I think we'll see more things coming out there. We'll have something more like a landing page at some point with Powershell. You know, those kind of things. We're really going to try to start lighting up some of the stuff that we had felt for a long time that the product we used, but that the you know, the organizational structure had just not really let us fix. But now, as I said, I can't overemphasize the importance of Satya's influence on letting us get this kind of stuff done. It's just been great. So, all right. Other stuff will keep coming. If there's other things that you think we need to be doing, please go ahead and file feedback on Connect, and we will be looking at that more regularly. All right. A few announcements might be kind of fun. We are going to actually release Pester on Windows and Windows Server.
He doesn't like
Is everyone familiar with Pester testing?
They are from, I went over a lot of this stuff this morning. I stole your thunder.
I'll do it.
I know, I saw it.
That's fine. I will keep your one. I'll go through all this then. And you've already got it. So if they already know, that's good.
Yeah,
I will point out that this is a very unique, this is probably the first time I've ever seen anything even conceive of being able to take an open source code and ship it in Windows. This is like unheard of. So that, I don't know how many of these will be able to do, but this is like an incredible precedent. So there you are. Did you go through each one of these, Bruce?
Yeah, I covered them in a little bit of detail. I just wanted to list off all the things that are on GitHub.
That's okay. Great. So as we start this, please feel free to contribute. We'll continue to do it. And did you go through the PowerShell Package Manager available demo level?
A little bit. I forgot what it was called. I called it one guy.
That's fine. It used to be formerly called one Git, it's now officially PowerShell Package Manager, Yahoo. There's a whole legal reason which makes no sense. I'm not called one Git anymore, but we have.
Oh yes, I don't think I covered this bit about how far the WMF is going down.
And one thing really worth noting is that the WMF 5.0, and this is still the preview, we probably should have had the word preview on the slide, will be available down level for Windows Server 2008 R2 and Windows 7, where the customers are. So you can begin to actually start playing with the preview. That actually makes a big difference.
How odd, doing something people want.
And as we go through WMF...
Pardon? Yeah, we touched on the WMF.
Let's talk a little bit, that's a very good preview.
Yeah,
by the way, one thing that we, on WMF, one thing that we are working through is how we take the Windows, the WMF 4.0 updates, the updates we did in November on 2012, and make them available down level in a WMF package. We got a lot of feedback interactively with the group on that topic here. I'm assuming people there also have strong feelings, and same on doing some production release of the WMF 5 stuff, as the Windows 10 client comes out. So we're definitely looking at both of those issues internally to actually have feedback where as you see Connect items and discuss them, feel free to vote some options to look at. All right, let's talk a little bit about how we're going to decide what to do as we move forward. And most of that is going to come from data capture. So let me tell you about how we're changing in our process. This is mostly about the customer obsessed data driven. So first of all, we are changing, we did change, and we're going to change our approach to Connect a bit. If you take a look at it, first of all, it's easier to track and follow through. This is Joey Day Alpha. If you have feedback, feel free to contact Joey. Your reports to me. Bruce can give you his alias if you don't have it. Or send the feedback to Bruce and he'll forward it. But to keep our F, put it here inside this feedback button here on Connect. Now, part of the challenge I think we've had before is that people feel that they put stuff into Connect and then they don't get feedback on it. They're not quite sure what happens. It becomes a black hole. So we're trying to avoid that moving forward in a few ways. One, as you go ahead and get feedback, you try to separate feedback from bugs. We expect that we will be able to get back to you within a week or two, at least that we have read it. We might not know what we're going to do with it yet, but we will have read it and incorporated it into the process. Now, and by the way, had much discussion about whether we should go to user voice or Connect. We are still on Connect, partly because we don't want to lose the 2,000 pieces of data we already kind of have in the system. And every week, of course, we do try to do some of the work there, not as much as we would like, but more than one actually thinks will get done.
So one of the things that Kenneth was asking was user voice is a new mechanism for gathering user input. It seems to be preferred by a lot of people. We're continuing with Connect because we have a lot of stuff in there already. Do you guys have an opinion? Have you used user voice? I see one person. Yeah. Okay. So there's not a lot of people here have used user voice. So not much feedback. Okay. I'm done.
All right, that's okay. So here with your Powerhsell Connect. So as you provide us feedback, it would be great if you do it in a special way. I'll show you that in just a bit. This is an I can, so that. I'll tell you, you don't have to. Just give us feedback. Make sure you vote it up. But as you do give us feedback, do make sure you tell us the circumstances in which you're operating, so we know why you're trying to do what you're trying to do. So let me come back here.
Yeah, reiterate that. Tell us your problem, don't tell us your proposed solution. Because we can't infer from the solution, we don't know what you're really trying to do if you don't give us a context.
Yeah. And I will actually go back through that in just a bit, Bruce, also,
okay.
A little more detail.
Awesome.
We'll make sure we have that. Now also, of course, just updated, Powershell GitHub. I think hopefully Bruce has gone through that. We're going through in some detail now how to go ahead and contribute, how to build, what to do with it. But do participate. Don't just, don't just let this pass you by. As we're able to get good community participation, we will we'll be able to take feedback. There will be more things to come. Now this one I do want to highlight. For GitHub projects, I'm just going to read it, so I highlight it. Submit feedback via GitHub issues, not in Connect, right? So if you're giving us feedback on the Powershell Script Analyzer, the experimental DSC resources, or the package management, or anything else we put up on GitHub, go ahead and use the GitHub issues. Don't use Connect. So the bug's going to be bugs. If you're giving us feedback on a desire for a new feature or a new capability, if it's quote feedback instead of bug, then do make sure you use the same format that you would in Connect. Sort of I can, so that explain why you want to have it happen. But you should file issues on everything: code, documentation, tests, everything. There should be a full product set of issues. So again, submit the feedback on GitHub for GitHub things, on Connect for everything else. All right, let's talk a little bit. I can, so that, so I have one here? Yes. When I talked about talking to customers, I would show you the customer database that we have. It's pretty extensive right now, except that there are customer names in it, and I didn't want to divulge their information. But what you can see is that we have sort of a format here for how we synthesize. So once a week, there's probably 8 to 10 of us that get in a room, and we analyze all customer interactions and all Connect feedback for the past week.
So
Did people hear that?
Can everyone read this?
We
see
will.
The pattern of I can do something so that I get something done. So this is the format that we're using to process our user requirements.
But everyone, and once a week we get together and we actually go through all customer inputs in whatever form it takes, from Connect, GitHub, in one-on-one interactions, emails, whatever, and we synthesize, quote, I can, so that statements. So this comes directly out of one customer visit, and this was their synthesis from that customer visit. It's only one of them, one visit. This isn't all the I cans by a long shot. This just says, for example, you know, I can deal with the wrong term. Probably I can understand dependencies across PowerShell modules so that I can install all the components needed to manage my system, right? So when I install a module, it gets everything. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of these things. You know, I can set up a machine, you know, with a specific set of initial actions, etc. So the I can, so that is really important. It's really important because it enables us to understand why you want to do what you're trying to do. So it still lets you participate in what you want to do, how you're envisioning it. Both elements are key. So again, we'll take the feedback in whatever form you give it. If you give it in this form, it becomes easier for us, it's more digestible, and we can put it almost directly into our database. All right, the CAT team has now gone ahead and created a URL. Sorry, I'm not quite sure why this has a hard time, but anyway. And the CAT team is a specific team that runs the various app and enterprise programs in Microsoft. They have a great customer database, but they decided they want to expand it. We're beginning to reach out to customers for many reasons. One, just to do interviews and interaction questions, but also for a series of surveys or a deep one-on-one engagement or prototyping or various other activities where we're going to engage more deeply, more completely, and be a little more customer obsessed, as Satya has suggested. What that means is they want more participants. They want more people to participate, and not just companies. So, Bruce, did you get those cards?
They arrived, and some of them have been handed out. Hopefully we'll get them in everybody's hands.
Okay.
I put it into my deck as
You should
well.
make sure whoever is there, have one, have one now. Just make sure they get it. Go and sign up on that link. It's an easy link. See if I can bring it up. It actually was working a few days ago. Yeah, there it is. That's all you got to do. First name, email, time zone, company name, job title, blah, blah, blah. And it's okay to have many people for a single company. It doesn't matter. This is not about signing up a company. This is about signing up people. Feel free to give the URL out to friends or neighbors that you think would provide us interesting feedback and be willing to participate. It is okay if they are not currently Microsoft customers. Let me just stress that. It's good if they're not Microsoft customers because we need more people who don't use us also to reach out and talk to. So, anybody who's in the industry that you think has a reasonable view, please, you know, give them the card, give them the URL, tweet it, do something. All right. So that's kind of CAT. Now, what do we do with all this data? As I say, what happens is once a week, my team, and with a few other field engineers, get together, extract all the data, and synthesize it into a series of I can, so that statements. And we align them into the engineering database. I'm going to go ahead and show you some of that database at the high level. You won't get quite the details. So this is actually live data. And so if you took specify configurations code, that's essentially the DSC scenario, if you will. And within there, we have a whole scenario document. But basically, we talk about, hey, what does the user want? The user wants to configure a target for the subsystem. The user wants to understand and validate configuration, blah, blah, blah. The user wants to have the flexibility to configure nodes in a way that matches their work process. Let's go ahead and put this open. Because each one of these has its own CSS entry, which you can bring up. It doesn't say a lot, and if it will come up, there you are. It just says, hey, here's the background, here's why I want to do it, here's the description, here's the customers, and I'll click through that. And then you can just take a look at it. Here again, they drill down into I can statements. You should write I can deploy, configure, extract, change it, etc., so that we can fully test deployment, understand the changes made. This is the one that says essentially, hey, I want to be able to do a test across a bunch of machines and not have to actually change the configuration just actually run it, right? But there's a bunch of sub-ICANs, right, underneath here so that we know exactly what's happening. And then we have a set of customers. I won't go through the whole list, but each customer that requested this, we've added. What that means, let me explain the power of what we're doing here. What that means is that because we go all the way from the highest scenario through some basic feature models all the way to this I can statement. And one of your I can statements might well just show up here. The development tasks that actually the engineers are doing will each one tie into one of these I can so that statements. What that means is the individual engineer will know exactly what he's working on, which customers asked for it, in what context. And what that means is as soon as it's done, we will be able to reach back out to those who requested the capability and tell them, hey, we think that we solved the problem in this release of WMS or this other vehicle mechanism. So as you give us the customer data, we can reach back actually all the way up and talk to you about what we're trying to do. So that's where actually we're trying to drive engineering. Do people understand that? Are there questions involved in this whole set of issues?
Anyone?
Which drives you, by the way, to the point that validation can come into.
Nope, no questions. Okay, good. So this goes back to there's many ways to participate. Do participate. So I'm going to sort of close down. This is the key change is we are shifting pretty dramatically to a customer and data-driven engineering approach. That doesn't mean we're not going to do new initiatives. Many times the customer feedback does require new initiatives. It just means that we're shifting our focus, we're shifting the way we do things, we're shifting how we think about things, we're shifting where we do it. Some of it's going open source, some of it's not. We're shifting when we do it, how quickly we respond. And again, it's worth noting that some of this is just going to take time, right? We're certainly not there today. We won't be there, tomorrow, but we will get there over the next while. And we're certainly working on the change. So try it. Give us some feedback. Do use to go ahead and open the Connect if there's other issues, there's process issues you suggest. Find the Connect feedback button. I think someone's actually going to file the need for WMF 4.0 and for a WMF 4.0 update. So we take the 2012 update this and put them down level. If that's important to you, go ahead and add your data while you need it, upload it, or other things. I just use that as an example of something that one might not normally put into Connect as a feedback item, but we're hoping to drive that usage differently. If there are customers you think would be valuable for the team to talk to, in this case, just give their direct contact information to Bruce, and it's there, it'll get back to us. You can shoot me an email or Keith Bangston on my team, manages that for us. And definitely sign up for that, the Powershell ECG for the CAT customer engagement program. That's it. Any other questions, or I will... If anyone has any questions around schedules and things like that, Kenneth can answer. Typically, oh, is he gone? No, he's still there. Kenneth, you're still there, yes? No.
I am still here. You might have to, type it in case I can't quite hear it. You can,
okay. Well,
you can type it in Lync too if you're on.
I am. Okay. So does anyone have any questions around things like schedules, et cetera, et cetera? Kenneth is the guy to answer those sort of things.
Okay.
To the extent that he can.
Well, the exact release date for PowerShell.
Why, it'll release on exactly the same day as Windows 10. I'm looking for chat. Oh, yes, there we go.
Oh, we can see it, huh?
Yeah, well, we see a picture of him now. I don't know why. I made one off the phone. Does anybody have any other questions? Nobody? So don't you guys send me 5,000 emails to pass along. Ask your questions now. Oh, Kenneth, sure.
I'll give it the voice, it's okay.
Yeah. So, we have a question. I'll have to repeat it since he can't hear it.
Okay. About the documentation culture I was talking about, that it takes 3 weeks to make a single change to official documentation. What we've seen in the last years is more and more questions I ask are answered in blog articles, rather than in official documentation. I now understand why, because I guess you can anytime produce a blog article or change it, but you cannot change official documentation. I heard he wanted to change the culture, but I haven't understood what is that going to do to this. Are we going to have official, up-to-date documentation, or will we still rely on blog articles?
Yeah, so the question is, in the current world, our documentation slowly, if ever, gets updated, and so we're very dependent on blog posts and articles and other things that are written informally. The formal documentation lags dramatically. And how are we going to, in this brave new world, try and keep the documentation up to date?
Yeah, I think there's two things worth noting here. One is that we are, there's two aspects of that. One is the current world doesn't change. People are still going to get a lot of value out of blogs and out of online material other than the official documentation. We are going to try to make sure that that is actually easier to do by probably having something like a PowerShell, an official PowerShell team landing page where we actually put information, starter kits, and we will have updates to that content. The second piece is really this issue of we are going to get out of our current systems. Our current systems prevent anyone except one or two overwhelmed doc writers to try and keep up. And it's just an impossible situation. And the tools also are so Byzantine, as I say, that it's really slow to make any changes. So we will do something probably like open sourcing some of this docs. So in that case, we will have the community, we can update. My team, the PM team, will be able to make updates. The software engineers will be able to make updates. And right now, we can't. At least not in any reasonable form. So we will probably have an order of magnitude more people updating the documentation. Now, it is true the documentation has a tendency to lag anyway. Our intention is that as people do things, particularly in the open source, the DSV resources and others, that we begin to get pretty rigorous about whether or not they update the doc for the project and the code they have updated. So I think we'll just get better with it because of tooling and opportunity, and because of focus. It will take us to see we're not there, and it's going to take many months to allow to shift our processes to do that. So I cannot put a time frame on this one. But if it doesn't happen sometime this year, I don't know. We're not even trying to.
Yes, a question?
Yes, I have a question. Two questions actually. One would be, if you put the help files into some open source form, would that mean that you also update help so that we can, as a normal user, update the help and don't need to be admins to place the help files into the help system of PowerShell? And the second question, maybe you can combine them, would be if you change the internal help file format from this awful MAML thing to something new, would it be possible to also use, as an example for a command, your snippet format?
So Tobias' question was, if things are going to be, if we're going to do open source the documentation, will it be possible for somebody who isn't an admin to update the documentation? Right now we're sticking it in System 32. If we start putting all the modules in program files, PowerShell, then end users can update the documentation and not have to be root on that box. And the second question was, and if we're going to do that, and change the markup format so it's not MAML anymore, would it be possible to embed examples in the form of snippets? So the snippet mechanism that ISE uses, you'd be able to take those directly from the help tool.
I love these ideas. Thank you. And there's like two things to say. One is these are great. We shall look at each one of them. If you would add them to the connect and the feedback, that will help tremendously so they don't get misinterpreted by me. But I will also pass them along to Joey, who is doing the design on my team. You can also feel free to shoot him an email if you want to with those two great ideas or great points. And then we'll try to push those along. But definitely make sure you put these in the connect feedback today. with I can, so that statements.
Yeah, and I can tell you, knowing Joey, he will
But
be
yeah,
all over that stuff. Like, he will be fighting.
but just to be clear, this is a great point, and the intent is that people can update the documentation, right? We would want to make sure everybody can do it, so absolutely. You've landed the intent of what we're trying to do perfect. We have not worked out all the mechanisms yet. That's why I definitely want the issue logged, so we make sure we drill into the right details and land it well, or able to articulate why we couldn't and what a plan would be to eventually get there.
So just as a side note, how many people know what MAML stands for? June might have told you. A couple of people. So it's Microsoft Assistant.
Microsoft Full Market Language.
Yeah. And it was supposed to be the future of documentation at Microsoft. All teams were supposed to use it. There's only one team that ever used it. That was us. And we have suffered with that for 10 years. Pardon? Maybe, as far as I know, nobody else has been wounded by this quite the way we have.
It's awful. It's an awful format.
It is an awful format. We know that it's an awful format. But as Ken, this is this like process that takes 6 weeks, right? Because there's this huge machine. It's like the coal mine, right? They drop stuff in and they grind it and blah blah blah. And you know, the people who are trying to fix it, like the 16-year-olds running and losing their legs into the cars. So, and it's almost that bad. It's only a flesh wound. So yeah, we're all over trying to get the help cell fixed. Part of the problem is that we almost didn't need help, right? Because you can reflect on commands, you can get all the syntax. And so we went along for a long time going, what do we need help for? Right? Because you can just get the information. But it doesn't work if you're not on the team. So, anything else?
Any more questions? We have room for 2 more.
Oh, I will say one thing on the documentation, if I might. If I might, Bruce, one thing on the documentation, it's just my own pet peeve. And that we really need more about topics.
Yes.
Sometimes people just go to the syntax. Over time, we read here and try to find a way of encouraging people, and this will take time, to just do more about topics so people can get the basic gestalt of what's actually, you know,
I think no format.
I have a question too. For you.
Yeah, we might end up finding more structured format.
Markdown would work for about 2, I think.
For a Unix guy, it's very common to work with the beta status software. The desired state configuration waves are all experimental. For Windows guy, it's very uncommon to work with experimental stuff in production. Are there plans to go out of the experimental state to shipping states?
Yeah, so the whole, do you want to talk to that, Kenneth? The whole experimental, not experimental, what's stable, what's not stable? Or shall I go?
Oh, so was that?
Yeah, I need to repeat the question. Yeah, the question was, so we have all these experimental releases, and it's not, well, it's common in the Unix world to deal with things like that. It's uncommon for Windows people to have to deal with or distinguishing between experimental and non-experimental features. And how are we going to sort of resolve this? What's our plan?
This is an open question, which we're discussing internally now for a month or 2.
Violently.
More actually, since we started with the notion of experimental. The key issue is we want to make sure that people are able to use our stable features in production and that we ship them frequently. We also, almost on a separate track, want to make sure that we get feedback on experimental features before we call them stable and people take a strong dependency on them so we can change them and fix them so they're a better user experience. So both of those objectives are valid and correct. They're just in opposition. So far, we've just tried to be more